All right, only hours after Renee Nicole Goode was tragically murdered by ICE, Donald Trump made the intentional decision to surge more federal agents into Minneapolis to further escalate. I want to show you all a side-by-side, a split screen, if you will, of the supposed so-called quote-unquote domestic terrorists versus the so-called supposed peaceful ICE agents, because what you'll see is that the administration is inversing reality almost perfectly. And all of the clips I'll show you, these protesters are just genuinely concerned human beings. I mean, look at this. People were handing out food and samosas during this protest in Minneapolis. Just a beautiful community moment captured in this video.
This is our Somali community. This is our Hawaii right here giving out some busa. Thank you so much. Thank you, bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is what we need. This is what we need. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Minneapolis. Everyone come up.
Now, this footage is from the protest yesterday on Saturday. It's still early on Sunday, but honestly, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment. The Somalian community, who's been abused and bullied and, just tortured online over the past month and in person, they've been harassed. They decided to show up and show out and show solidarity and support for the many people walking and protesting. Honestly, I'm sure these samosas taste amazing. I am so incredibly hungry looking at these samosas. But to continue, this aerial footage from yesterday shows a large crowd in Powderhorn Park and Minneapolis, Minnesota. And what Tom Homan wants you to believe right now in his interview with Meet the Press is that these are domestic terrorists and that Renee Nicole Goode was a quote-unquote domestic terrorist. Those are his words. And even Piers Morgan, who is notoriously just super soft on Trump and runs defense for Trump, he is a pretty rational actor. I mean, many times he can say very rational on the point things, but he just has a soft spot for Trump that makes him constantly run defense for Trump and apply this double standard. Even Piers Morgan himself said, quote, "Of all the claims made about Renee Goode, the idea that she was a domestic terrorist based on the videos we've seen of her final moments is the most ridiculous. And if she'd been a Trump voter, nobody would be saying it. Nobody whatsoever." And I proved that this morning. Kristi Noem was shown videos of Trump voters beating the shit out of police officers on January 6th, and she didn't have the same type of language that she did like 30 minutes after Renee Nicole Goode was tragically murdered. Check out Tom Homan trying to classify her as a domestic terrorist, but really struggling to.
I want to stay on this question, which is about the way in which the woman who was shot and killed is being labeled as a domestic terrorist. Just to be clear, is anyone who protests ICE a domestic terrorist in the eyes of the administration?
I can't say that. It's a case-by-case basis. But, if you look up the definition of terrorism, is there violence? Is there threat of violence based on an ideology that wants to change the way the government does what we do? Look up the definition of terrorism.
But was Secretary Noem correct to label her a domestic terrorist, Mr. Homan?
Look, we don't know what I don't know what Secretary Noem knows and what I know. I can tell you is what.
Very well said. I don't know if Secretary Noem knows, but she knows what I know. Very well said, Tom Homan. No, it was not appropriate for the Department of Homeland Security Secretary to come out only like an hour after Renee Goode was shot and call her a domestic terrorist. Now, of course, this is Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, who works hand in hand with Stephen Miller to push the most extreme immigration policy possible, and even he's struggling to answer this live on air.
Homan?
Look, we don't know what I don't know what Secretary Noem knows and what I know. I can tell you is what they did is illegal. And if you look up this definition of terrorism, it certainly could fall within that definition if you look at the definition of terrorism.
But you don't have evidence.
There's no evidence, and also, in the definition he gave, there must be a threat of force. Renee Goode was trying to drive away. The threat of force was coming from the ICE agent. So here's what I want to illustrate throughout this video. When they use the term domestic terrorist, they are inversing reality because every single video that I've seen, every single video that goes viral shows that the domestic terrorists, the people using force to enact a political goal, are the people walking around in masks and vests with the budget of most countries' militaries, throwing people to the ground, breaking their windshields, pulling them out of cars, cracking the ribs of 79-year-old men, murdering U.S. citizens. That seems like domestic terrorism. Just because they have a badge does not mean they are not a terrorist. Here, I will level with MAGA for a second. I also want to see thugs taken out of the street. all of the time. If there are violent thugs, take them out of the street. That includes thugs with badges. Take a look at this video. Every single video that has emerged from Minneapolis, Minnesota has shown the ICE agents using disproportionate force. This is a new video that just emerged. If you want to help boost this message, make sure you drop a like below. And if you appreciate the work we do on the Adam Mockler channel and want to support independent media, you can subscribe for free to keep up with the breaking news. This reads, holy smokes, new video shows ICE agents smashing the window of protesters' vehicle and forcibly pulling him out in Minneapolis. He was immediately detained. Protesters in the area are furious and the tensions are exploding. This is escalation, not policing. The interesting part is there are reports that the local Minneapolis police are actually very much so against ICE, FBI, and the administration after their investigation got spiked by the FBI. Take a look at this video. I'm going to mute it for a second because there's a lot of loud background noise. But what you see is they're breaking windows. I'm going to play it now. This is some wild stuff. Overly aggressive, undertrained ICE agents who have masks on, which further embolden them, are pulling people out of their cars in the middle of the street. Yesterday, Mayor Jacob Frey described how they pulled someone out of their car after breaking their window, and the car was still in drive. It just drove down the street and could have hurt somebody. People, I see one person in the background, if you see where my mouse is, recording. I see another neighbor to the right recording. I see, if I back up, another neighbor was recording only moments ago. Just think about this. ICE is visiting suburbs and just literally ripping people out of their cars and breaking windshields. What about this? They grab an elderly man at a bus station and pull him off in Minneapolis, Minnesota today.
No days off, huh? Don't get so close.
Yeah, I think these are the people that you should be going after, ICE. Yeah, of course. When Trump promised to deport all of the violent criminals, that's also what I pictured. People just trying to get to work, using public transportation to actually support their family, and who seem like they are a normal, assimilated part of society. That's exactly what I pictured too. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. Why the hell are we allocating resources towards, one, using our DHS accounts and our government accounts to post cruel AI videos, two, targeting people who haven't committed any sort of crime whatsoever and are likely contributing to the economy and are a net benefit, and three, are just nonviolent people who are here trying to contribute to America. Take a look.
Don't get so close. Don't get so close. Hey, just give them space when they go to their car. Hey, give them space when they go to their car. Hey, give them space when they go to their car. Hey, give them space going to their car. Give them space going to their car.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Amílcar. Amílcar Pipín.
¿Cómo te sientes?
See, look, he's fine. Everybody's fine. He's fine.
Are you guys just...
Then things escalated even further. As Micah points out right here, Americans are rising up against ICE in Minneapolis. ICE is so hated that Americans are straight up shutting down their operation through sheer numbers. The American people are fed up. This is democracy in action. Check this out. Now, it's nuanced. I don't think that if you were doing something like this, if you are protesting, please do not put your hands on or directly with force interfere with law enforcement by banging on cars or throwing stuff at them, unless you're ready to get arrested or possibly like heavily injured. Do not do that. That is not what I'd ever advise. Protesting is one thing. We've seen peaceful protests going on throughout the streets. So please, if you're out there, do not use force to interfere with law enforcement. That is not going to end up well. Now, on the other hand, it is justified to use whatever peaceful means are at your disposal, as long as you're not harming anybody around you or harming anybody directly, to make sure that these people are seen as the Gestapo that they are. And that's what you see in this video. They're shut down through sheer numbers. Nobody puts their hands on them. Nobody begins to punch the ICE officers. That would be a different story. This is peaceful resistance. Well, peaceful insofar as the ICE agents begin to be overly aggressive and freak out. There is a lot of beeping and a lot of screaming, so I'm going to play this, but I'm likely just going to talk over a lot of it.
Fuck you!
If it's hard to tell what's going on, throughout this video, the ICE operations essentially get stymied because of people power, of U.S. citizens who are just peacefully saying, get the fuck out of our city, using words to say, get the hell out of our city. And see, this is honestly one of the major problems with mainstream media. Mayor Jacob Frey goes on Meet the Press, only has a few minutes to talk about what's going on in his city. They decide to use multiple of the minutes to press him about statements that he made and whether or not they were escalatory. Dude, Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, they came out hours after and claimed this was a domestic terrorist. But Jacob Frey saying, ICE, get the fuck out of our city, apparently this rises to the same level. Now, Jacob Frey gives a great response. Mainstream media needs to get their priorities straight. If you appreciate what we do on the independent media by not both sidesing everything or wasting precious airtime by pressing people on issues that are not even important and both sidesing everything, make sure you subscribe below. Check this out.
Let me ask you, you told ICE, quote, to get the F out of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We are now seeing major protests all across the country, as you well know. I know that you've seen them as well. Do you bear any responsibility as a local leader, Mayor Frey, to bring down the temperature right now?
Of course, I bear responsibility to bring down the temperature. That's part of my role as mayor. And by the way, protests here in Minneapolis are peaceful. We had, 10,000 or so people that were protesting and marching yesterday, and virtually all of it was very peaceful expression of First Amendment rights. And, to those that are offended, I'm sorry I offended their delicate ears, but as far as who inflamed the situation, I dropped an F-bomb and they killed somebody. I think the killing somebody is the inflammatory element here, not the F-bomb, which I'm sure we've all heard before.
Thank you. This is such a perfect illustration of the double standards at play. ICE effing murders somebody in the streets, and rather than asking Mayor Jacob Frey some really pertinent questions, using up time to ask him about the Minneapolis investigation being stopped and blocked by the FBI, Mayor Jacob Frey has to explain that he used the F word. Oh no, he used the F word while responding to ICE. This is a disastrous. These two events are basically on the same level. Get the fuck out of here. Every single day, Democrats have to defend using bad words while Donald Trump calls for the literal arrest of the governor of my state, J.B. Pritzker, the mayor of the city that I'm in right now, Brandon Johnson, calls for the arrest and the hanging of Alyssa Slotkin, of Mark Kelly. Right now, as I'm speaking, over 1,000 people are estimated to be protesting in D.C.
If I don't have gloves on me, and most of you guys probably don't have gloves on you right now, but if you have a jacket, you can...
From what they're saying, it sounds like it's pretty damn cold in D.C. Let me know if you can confirm in the comment section. It is cold in Chicago, but not cold enough to protest ICE. I love you all, and peace out.